Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. We are 4 business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts, sharing the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. Today, we are talking about Appy Apps 2.0, which means that we are revisiting
2.0. I don't know why that seems so strange. This is 2.0, isn't it? 2.0. Is this like when I went to the car wash?
Can I do that again?
No, you can't. We'll be keeping this in. It's like
when it was coming out, it was like, that's not right, but I don't know what it is.
It's like when I went to the car wash company, and called them H20. Oh, the H20 car wash.
It's like hearing your mobile number said back in a different way. It's like, what? I can't hear it. I can't hear it. What is it? 2.0?
2.0.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Appy Apps 2.0.
Get down with the youth.
Yeah,
Come on.
Get down with the youth, man. Okay, so thanks for that, guys.
Good.
Let's delve in then. We are 18 months in from our last episode. Lots has changed in the apps world. So let's talk about it. First of all, I'm Clare Worley. We also have
Kate Curry,
Darren Langley.
Pete Morgan.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. I love the fact you all keep me on track. Brilliant. 2.0. So let's talk about our favourite apps then that we have brought into our business over the last kind of 18 months, 2 years. What's new, kids, in the apps world? Kate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I actually did some homework and listened back to our previous episode.
Well done.
Because I couldn't remember what I'd said. So I think it was quite interesting to revisit that and see what's changed since we did that. And I think one of my issues at the time was using different apps. Maybe they didn't necessarily integrate or work together all that well. So I've now decided to use Google Workspace as
nice.
And I think what I needed is like a big one. I needed a juicy app I could just plug stuff into that rather than like lots of little bitty bits.
Yeah.
And that's been quite helpful. And also to recognise that I'm only ever really going to get 90% of what I want out of something.
Yeah.
Maybe 92. And so that's, recognising that and just sort of living with it has been, rather than just endlessly hunting for the next thing.
The thing that's going to solve everything.
Yeah, and it's solved like 90% of things, so like that's not a bad, stat really. I managed to get most things working with it, so...
Hold on, is that an actual stat, 92%, or have you just pulled that?
No, I made that up.
Just checking.
92.0%. But it works well because everything sort of plugs into it. It speaks to things. There's still bits that still got gripes, but overall I've got like a CRM system. My emails work quite well. The downside is it has to work in an internet browser, but everything's a bit of a trade-off really. But I can live with that. But it fits into all my standard go-tos like Trello and Clockify and things like that. So, which is another new one that I now use to
Clockify.
Yeah, to log hours spent on tasks during the day, so you can see where you're spending your time. So that's been another good one.
I love the start to that conversation because I, when thinking about this episode, was just thinking, I feel like I've got a love-hate relationship with all of the apps that I use. So you've just given me some really nice perspective because I think, I'm trying to seek out the holy grail that's just going to solve everything.
Yeah.
And I think, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with, Asana, Zoho. I used to hate spreadsheets in my BT days, but now I love spreadsheets because that to me is they can do everything for you. But I think there's a but to the spreadsheet, so I can't think what the but is at the moment. Because I do try and steer my clients away from using spreadsheets because Well, not everybody can use them in the same way that you do. I think that's.
Oh, that's the thing. I think with spreadsheets, it's very personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have this with my wife when we do like family spreadsheet things.
Yeah.
I'll set one up
you're
and
so
it's.
romantic.
I know, yeah. When we have one of our
Oh, let's do a spreadsheet.
when we have one of our spreadsheet evenings. Let's have a little look at what's going on with the spreadsheet. Well,
But,
then
Darren,
she'll do
what
stuff
do you
to it. It's
use
like, oh,
spreadsheets for?
you've changed the spreadsheet.
What do you use
Well-
them for in your family? Because I like a spreadsheet. I've got
Yeah.
a holiday spreadsheet.
Well, usually finance related stuff. So, we've been having a big extension project. So a lot of stuff has gone into the spreadsheet for that. Yeah, holidays, birthdays, Christmases,
Oh, wow.
Wednesdays. Lots of stuff goes in there, yeah. But yeah, no, I think spreadsheets can be very personal how you set it up because you do have that scope to do it. But that wasn't going to be my input. I just thought I'd...
So tell us then, what is, thinking about the last 18 months, what have you moved on with? Because you are the king of Trello.
Yes.
Let's leave Trello to
Let's
one
not.
side.
Let's
'cause
not
we,
leave
we
Trello to
know
one side.
that you love that. So,
Just to say on Trello, there is now...
no, you're not allowed to speak about
But
Trello.
there are new ways you can use Trello. You've got like calendars and timelines and, you can use it and adapt it in different ways, provided you find common ground with your wife on how you use it. Because again, we have lots of Trellos for things too, for holidays and stuff. But, it's still good and evolving. And that's all I'm going to say on Trello for now.
So I've encouraged my husband to go on Trello, but it makes me ratty now when he says, "Well, have you checked our Trello board?" And I'm just
Oh,
like-
hold on.
And I'm like,
Have you got a
"Ew."
family Trello board?
Yes.
You've just had
good.
the gall to slag off Darren and his spreadsheets, and you and your husband are using Trello. You've just dug yourself a very big hole.
No, I haven't I? Yeah.
What the hell are you using Trello as a family? Tell
Trello,
me.
well, I can answer that.
But I don't like it. So I always get a bit ratty when he says, asks me about it, because I feel like we work together then. And I
Kate,
don't-
what's on your family Trello board? Give me a taster.
We've got things like planning holidays and any work we're having done to the house and family stuff with
brilliant.
kids. And retirement plans and all that kind of stuff.
Good. This all sounds good to me.
it's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I kind of don't want to go. I feel like it's a work thing, and it annoys
Yeah.
me when I kind of like to keep them separate. So I feel myself getting a bit
I find it more a personal thing than a work thing. Don't tell the tax man. But, I've got a lot of stuff on Trello that is, planning for the future, and
I like to keep it just as a work thing if I can, because it's like I want to have a bit of separation.
but you
It's
Yeah.
like-
can separate them. So you've got your business Trello. Not that I'm sponsored by Trello, but you've got your business Trello, which you can use, all your business stuff with, and then your personal Trello, which you can keep to one side.
Pete, I'm scared to ask you. Have you enjoyed
I am not going to talk about Trello. I'm going to sing about it. Trello, Trello, Trello. It keeps you really mellow. You can make some lists so nothing gets missed. Trello, Trello, Trello. I am a Trello convert in the past 18 months. Major League Trello convert.
We got another one.
I know. But
It's difficult, isn't it? Trying to draw people in.
it kind of goes back to what you were saying. I've tried. So there was one, and I was just looking for the name of it, and I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called something like Sprint, and what it was. So you had everything on your desktop. So you had your emails, but also your social feeds, and your kind of Evernote was on there, or Trello can be on there. So you can kind of just click on a tab and see everything in front of you. And I thought, okay, this is quite good. But again, it did 90% of what I wanted it to do, but that missing 10% was too much for me. And I genuinely, I'll have to look into what it was called. I want to say it was called something like, it began with S. And
Was it Shift?
Shift?
Oh, yes,
there you go,
someone
yes.
else
Oh,
mentioned
yeah.
that to me
Yeah.
yesterday.
And it's good.
It is good,
But
yeah.
it just didn't quite do everything that I wanted it to do.
90% shift, 10% shit.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
So,
But yeah, with Shift you can kind of plug in then your Google mails and all that kind of stuff.
Which is
So
what,
you've got
yeah.
everything in one app.
Pete, has Trello given you 100%?
For what I need it to do, it really helps me. So all I use it for at the moment, all I use it for is organising kind of my workflow through the week. So it's kind of, right, I'm doing this Monday, this Tuesday, this Wednesday, this, and I have different kind of ones for days of the week, and I can move them about and get rid of them, put them into a done folder when I've done the task.
Yeah.
I find that really good, because then there's reminders about the next step in the process that I need of, okay, you've done that. Don't forget you need to add to that spreadsheet. Or
Have you used Asana? Because I use Asana and now I feel like I should be going to Trello, because Asana, although I have loved it, there's just something missing.
Go to Trello, go to Trello, go to Trello, go to Trello.
Trello keeps you very mellow. You can make lists so nothing gets missed. I mean, you could do it, Claire.
You can invite your husband. Have romantic nights.
On Trello.
Oh my God. Right, and we need to move on.
Yeah, we do.
You
Let's
guys
talk
have
about
lost
something else.
Yeah.
your marbles.
What's next?
So my next question is, what do you wish you'd have known or done differently at the start of your business? But as I was thinking about this question, I'm like, oh my God, apps didn't even exist when I started my business.
There was no such thing as the internet when I started mine.
I think the wheel had only just been done when I kind of started.
So,
Not the game show, by the way. I mean,
yeah.
We used to do websites in crayons back in my day.
So let's just have a think about what advice we can give around apps, because I think it's really it's a real challenge to get lost in the world of apps and just keep kind of loading all your stuff onto it and then going, oh, I'm not getting what I need from it, and then going again. So what do you wish you'd have kind of done differently when, you know, these systems and apps came in? What do you wish you'd have done differently?
I think for me, I think now I factor the cost in, because yes, some of them do have free, but
Yeah.
I always feel if you want to get the best out of this app and you like what it's doing for you, why would you not kind of just pay a nominal amount for it? And it's just factoring in, okay, well, I pay that. So I use Adobe Audition. This podcast is being recorded on Adobe Audition, which I pay for. But I have no problem paying, because I get everything I need out of it. And I think if the free version's fine, but I just think it's worth, factoring in the fact that you might have to pay for getting the most out of it. And I don't think that's a bad thing,
I think mine is two things. I think I was so wet behind the ear when I first started that I kind of thought, if someone would have spoke to me about systems and processes, I'd have been like, oh, I don't need it because I've only got a few clients, or, there's not that much going on in my business. But I think now it doesn't matter if you're doing something more than once, then, get it onto a system so that the system does all the thinking for you. And I can't remember the second thing. It'll come to me in a minute. So, Kay, what do you wish you'd have known or done differently?
Yeah, well, when I first started using apps, I definitely went into that sort of cycle of trying something, don't like it, trying something else, don't like it. Yeah. And that really got on my nerves after a while. I was starting to feel really quite disenchanted with it. And then I got some help. And I wish I'd sort of done that right at the start, really. Would have saved a lot of pain and fannying around. So I got my lovely business manager to help me with it, and I was like, this is the brief, this is what I want, what will work for me, and she sort of designed me a system using apps that, some are paid for, some just the free versions are good enough, and it works and it delivers what I want it to, or 92% of it.
Yeah,
anyway. Yeah. So and I'd have got there quicker if I'd have had that, earlier on in the process.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think we have to feel the pain first, though, don't we?
Yeah, maybe you do. Yeah.
To get the benefits. Pete, what do you wish you'd have done differently?
It's kind of like I was saying about the, realised earlier on that with some of them, you just have to pay. because I was just doing that thing of, right, I'm only going to use the free one.
Yeah.
I'm not upgrading to Pro, or, you know, I'm just not doing it. But realising that actually with some of the apps that I use, so I use one called Headliner, which creates visual representations of audio. And I use it for some clients for creating kind of social clips, or if you're putting your podcast on YouTube but you don't want to kind of film yourself doing your podcast, you use this thing called Headliner, and it has a free version which is really good, but I realised I was going to have to upgrade it and start paying for it, and I had no problem doing it, and you know, like I say, it's just factoring in that money that you have to hand
If you
over.
think about the time it saves you,
Oh yeah,
it's a no-brainer, isn't it? You have
Yeah.
to look at it like that.
Yeah.
But they are all £10 a month, aren't they?
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
It can rack up, so you have to just be careful. With
It's
the
when they
ones
do
that
that. It's when they do that. $10 a month brackets paid yearly. Well, that's not $10 a month, then, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What you mean is $120 a year.
That was my second thing. I think all of a sudden I've got a lot of systems, and because they've been added on over the years, I think really, I mean, I have planned to do a review of them all next week, but I think I've got one main system that really I could use that system and get rid of a few others rather than paying for them, and just bring it all under one roof.
But then that becomes a pain in itself to go through that process of
I
bringing
know,
it.
and that's kind of why I think
and
I've
then
got
it's like,
myself
you know,
into
it's
the
easier just to pay the
situation.
$10 a month.
But then that's
and
silly, isn't it? Because
Exactly,
all
yeah,
those
that's
tenors, and that's what I'm literally
That's
going
how
to
they
do.
get you.
I'm going to add it all up and see that yearly or 2 yearly figure, and that will be that, right, come on now, get it sorted.
Yeah.
So in one sentence, what have you learned about yourself through your business and these beautiful apps that we can have, Darren?
Well, one thing I've learned, I suppose, is that at the end of the day, they are tools, you know, so it's kind of depends on, which I think is what we've really been talking about, is depends on how you use those tools. You know, you can use a tool to do lots of different things, and on the surface of it, they all sound great because they do a good sales job, a good marketing job. But if you're not using it right, or if you're not applying it in a way that works for your business and your processes, that's the thing you have to have in place first. Have the processes in place and then find the tools that will deliver that, rather than try and do it the other way around where you, I found some fancy new tool. Now, how can I make my business work around that? That's, I think, the...
Good advice.
Thank you.
Good advice, Darren. Processes first, then find the tool.
Yeah,
it's like finding a really nice hairdryer, but what you want to do is some gardening.
Exactly, yeah.
That's exactly
Or
it.
blowing some leaves around.
Finding a really nice hairdryer and being me. Who's got no hair.
She's so insensitive, Kate.
I know. Didn't want to say it. I could have hair. This is a medical condition. It really isn't.
See, my thing I've learned is shit in, shit out. Which I say that to clients far too often, but it's something a boss of mine in BT used to say with our CRM, our customer.
I didn't realise you were medically trained.
Believe it. It's something my boss used to say with our CRM. If you put in rubbish in the system, then you're going to get rubbish out. And I just had the perfect example this morning of my system sent me a message to do something. And I was like, I feel like I've done that already. So I went in to check in my notes in my lovely CRM system, Zoho. No notes in there. And then I spent 5 minutes thinking, did I or didn't I? I'm like, oh, God, shit in, shit out. I don't know now whether I did it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was it, because there was another one, and again, my memory's terrible. There was another one that I'd seen advertised somewhere, and I was like, this is really good. And basically, it was productivity. So you would say, this is the task. This is how long I think I need to do this task. And it would populate your calendar with your tasks and go, right, so you've got time to do this here. This task here, you haven't got time to do it here. You can do it kind of tomorrow morning kind of thing. But you really needed to spend a lot of time
Yeah.
setting it up, setting the rules, adding in and importing what's already in your actual calendar for it to be worth it. And I kind of did the 7-day trial and was like, yeah, no, this isn't worth, for what it's doing, it's not worth the effort. And I ended up having an email conversation with the developer because he got in touch and said, I see you've done, when
that's
they normally do this.
yeah.
I see you've done the trial, but you've not gone for the paid route. Can I ask why? It didn't do what I wanted it to do, and part of that is my fault.
Yeah, that's kind of like having a really good assistant, isn't it? Who's right there beside
Yeah.
you, always saying, "Oh, you've got half an hour. You could, put that in there." Okay, Kate, what have you learned about yourself? You and your husband should not have Trello.
Yeah, that's definitely first learning. I think that it's really enabled me to do more of what I want to do and do it better.
Yeah.
And download things in my head into and allow them to do the thinking and working out for me to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So it means my working day is more organised. I'm better at what I do. I don't tend to forget things anymore because there's always a note or a prompt or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing is, like, if the internet had suddenly disappeared, we'd all be
Screwed.
That's what scares me. That I'm paying for these systems, but it's not. I haven't got.
Yeah.
I haven't got that data.
There's nothing physical.
No, there's nothing physical. Yeah. So at the end of it...
Well, one of the good things about Trello is you can download all your boards as spreadsheets and then, just go back to the old days.
Well, yeah, you can download it, but you'd have to just keep downloading all the time, wouldn't you?
And also...
So you're saying I shouldn't download it all the time?
But all you're doing then is downloading it onto another digital format.
I'm not saying...
and it's just a spreadsheet, isn't it?
When that solar flare kicks out and wipes everything out, it's, then that's a whole different scenario.
But that's always been the case, hasn't it, with the systems?
But if you're worried that an app's going to go out of business, I suppose that's
I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about dead money. But I think I'm viewing it in the wrong way, aren't I?
Just to say that if you did want to download your spreadsheets from Trello on a regular basis, then you can use the if this then that or Zapier to set up a process that will do that automatically for you.
I think my lovely Maribel does that for me. She uses Zapier.
There you go.
So I'm probably just thinking about it and I think, right, what's your biggest challenge that you've got right now? Can I start?
Yeah.
It's tidying up the systems that I've got.
I was going to say that.
Through working out.
App admin.
Yeah, I know that I need to do a full day on what's working, what isn't, and what gaps do I need to fill in order to make it more streamlined.
I think I've come out the other side of that where I've now just have come to the realisation that's never going to happen.
Oh,
and
no, I can't live with that.
Be comfortable with the truth.
It feels a bit too chaotic.
That I have 100 tabs open in my web browser and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's too many apps where there's a test board or test page or test post that I've done.
Yeah.
There's too many of them. On Evernote, I've got so many notes in there that are like test or just a few words, but there's pushed so far down now, it's like I need to do the same. I've got to go and just clean it all up, make it all a bit more streamlined.
I did look at a few old Trello boards recently. It's like, I remember when I used to have that idea. That was a really good idea. I should have done that, but never looked at the board.
You're parking ideas.
Put ideas and things into it so you don't have to remember it, and then of course you forget to look at it, and then it just becomes forgotten.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, or maybe in a slightly different way, my app admin needs to work, but it's just, I find that I get very overexcited, pour lots of things in it, and then I find that, I don't know, I'd be interested to know if you guys get this, but when you're at home, you walk into a room, and then you just forget what you went in there for.
Oh, all the time.
What? I feel like that every time I sit behind this microphone.
And you just stand there going, there was something really important I came here to do. And I find that when I open up my emails and they're just full of unread emails, and I open up my Trello board and it's full of cards everywhere, and I open up Clockify and there's reports, like lists of reports. It's like trying to manage the apps that are there to help you.
Yeah.
You need to allow admin time to keep them working like optimally.
Shit in, shit out.
Shit in, shit out. Mine's full of shit. I really need to tidy it up.
We need an app called like Sewer, a sewer app that will just empty out all your old.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
just
Data.
flush. Just
Hit the flush.
Oh, we so need that.
Right, I'm sorry, I'm trademarking that now.
Darren, make that
Like a
happen.
Google Chrome add-on.
Yeah. They'll just remember which tabs you had open, and they
Nice.
don't have to keep moving.
So let's talk about silver linings then. Let's go to the positives.
Yes.
Because there are loads of positives with these apps. And for me, there's so many approaches that you can take. So, I mean, this is just such a great podcast for people who are starting out with apps, because we're telling you all the best ones, but really it is about finding out the apps that work for you, your business, your way.
Yeah.
And I've loved Kate's piece of nuggetry. Is that a word?
It is now.
With, aim for 92% of, that's kind of good enough. There's not going to be something that's 100% there for you. I like that.
I think I think part of that is also choosing apps that, like I said earlier, that fulfill the process rather than trying to make the process fit the apps. Like for me, and the silver lining for me, when they work and you get them working in sync, you get a lot more efficient, better productivity. You get a lot of compliments on it. So for me, where I have my initial process that involves people going through Typeform, Calendly, and of course Trello.
Yeah.
That process is all smooth and done, and lots of people say, "Oh yeah, I really like your process at the beginning. I want something like that." It's like, well, great, I can help you with that.
Come work with me.
And I think just finally, before I forget this one, and I'm not sure whether it really counts as an app, but one app that's definitely changed my business in the last 10 years or whatever is Go Cardless, which is the direct debit payment system. And I do consider it an app because you log in and see you can manage it all.
Yeah.
But that was a game changer, I think, where you can set people up on direct debits very easily.
No more invoicing.
No, and then you can spread payments. There is invoicing.
But
if you want to
not in traditional
the joy is
PDF
use
sense.
use Xero or whatever to do the invoicing automatically, and you set it and forget it. But it just means that you can spread out payments and make things easier for the client on that side of things, cash flow and what have you. But easier
And
as well
that's the important thing, isn't it? It's easier for you and your business, but even more importantly than that, it's easier for your clients, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what you're trying, as much as we're trying to make things, by making it easy for us, that knock-on effect is making it easy for your clients. So with GoCard, mine was Stripe.
Yes, same.
Having
I think
Stripe
stand
payments
out.
is amazing, and has really kind of helped me. And the other silver lining is there's new ones being developed all the time.
But none will be as good as Trello. So give up now, app developers. It's been done.
All I've got now in my head is some developer listening to this and just starting to cry, just one single tear.
Yeah.
Give up now.
Unless it's sewer app, obviously.
Never give up.
Then do that.
Kate, what's your silver lining? Let's finish with your wise words. No pressure.
Oh, I'm not sure if I've got wise words, but I think for me the silver lining is, once you've got your core solution, and then you can explore and plug in lots of other things. There's things being developed and changed all the time. But I think for me, my silver lining is I've got my core solution, and I can just have fun with all the periphery bits around the bells and whistles around the edge, and it feels a bit more like I can experiment and have a bit of fun with it now, without it completely disrupting the whole model of the business.
Yes.
So that's I think it's important to get that base layer correct, and then you can build on it.
See, you did have wise words.
That came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Brilliant, guys. Thank you for your incredible input on apps. That was really awesome. So for our lovely listeners, please share, subscribe and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy being inspired and always keep focused on the fun side of business too.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.